Hello. The following TV snippets give an overview of BMM, Business Management Model, the system for business performance management. Please, also visit our website and download area for more detail. Do not get hurried by the speed of the video. You can pause and resume the video show at any time. Here we go.
Let us talk about business planning. I want a much more efficient business planning process. The next round of business planning must be different.
Our current planning process results usually into an absolute slowdown of management decisions. I wonder whether we can really improve on this.
Yes, we'll improve. You and your team will have a close look at BMM, Business Management Model. BMM should save us time and the usual frustrations.
I wonder what this BMM is all about. I have many questions on my mind. I need some solid explanations before we start an experiment. What we need is a tool that relieves us from the endless chores of planning. Managers must get exactly the information they need for planning, steering and control. Well, I have many questions. What is BMM? Where does BMM come from? Who made BMM? How effective is BMM? How long is BMM already in use? Then, there are the questions like implementation, transition, organization, and training for the new planning tool. What is the effort and the time span to get things done?
We will not leave you alone with this. I am Peter Barth, the guy responsible for the design and implementation of BMM. I certainly will be able to answer your questions. I am Tom Berryman. I managed the BMM project for the last 10 years. Peter and I are both very experienced business consultants. I am certain we can discuss all aspects of BMM.
Let us explain. Why use BMM? What are the benefits your organization can expect?
I want Jennifer to listen to this as well.
Hello. I am Jennifer. My team and I are responsible for the methodologies and tools of business planning. I would like to say a few words to our current situation. Our case. We plan and consolidate operations of about 40 companies. The largest company has over 10,000 employees. The smallest company has a staff of about 20. Our companies work internationally. They are located in about 20 countries. We use 7 local languages. We deal in 6 currencies. Our central reporting is in English and US dollar. We have over 300 lines of products and services. We deal with over 1,000 suppliers. Now, gentlemen, you can tell us why we should use BMM and what benefits we will have using BMM.
Jennifer, we roughly understand the complexity of your business. We will address every single point of your case.
In 1984, I started in Germany, PMS as International Business Consulting Company. PMS is a specialist in business performance management and business planning. To get a leading edge on the competition, we started BMM development about 20 years ago. Our sound know-how about databases and application software development was a great asset. Even in the early stages, BMM gave our consultants a great support. The time savings in project work were great. We could offer consulting projects at competitive prices. BMM has been subjected to continuous improvements. It is state-of-the-art. The system is very mature and well-tested. BMM has been in use over the last 20 years. We used the last 5 years to get BMM ready for the international market. We invested in documentation, tutorials, appearance and quality assurance. Let's get into the global functional aspects of BMM. Tom, please, will you take over from here?
Let us first scratch a bit on the surface of BMM. BMM's primary purpose is business performance management. Managing a business is like running a boat. You must know where to go, where you are, what the limits are, what obstacles are ahead of you, and how to circumvent obstacles. You must know, what are the capabilities of your boat? You must know, what are the capabilities of your crew? You are in for a race against your competitors and time. And not to forget, you must keep close control over your financial resources. Be it for investments, future developments or running expenditures. For better understanding, we should look at the entire scope and approach of BMM, with regard to business performance management. We want to make sure we mean the same things. BMM has a holistic approach to business performance management. This is one of the features that elevates BMM over other business planning systems. You need planning, steering and control. We will look at the scope of BMM. The global scope of BMM encompasses the seamless functionality of scenario planning, strategic planning, business planning, and operations planning. BMM handles the concurrent planning of many companies, located at different places. Prerequisite for the seamless planning functionality. These planning aspects must mesh perfectly like gears. This is one of the reasons why BMM maintains all planning aspects in databases. BMM databases can be located at many places but are always in reach of management.
Before we get lost in the nitty-gritties of BMM, let us discuss some of the more general benefits of BMM. Tom, please.
We learned. The features of BMM cover all facets of business performance management. BMM's versatility and content extends far beyond the limits of other commercially available planning systems. Let us have a look at some major benefits. Using BMM, substantial benefits will be realized in your organization. Permanent reduction of planning effort and cost. The reduction can be as high as 80%. Relief of management, due to less effort. No delay or deferral of decisions during the planning period. Well-documented and verifiable planning procedures and metrics. And most important, there will be manager time available for additional planning scenarios. BMM is the common planning instrument and caters for planning definitions across all barriers like other planning systems, countries, languages, currencies and calendars. BMM's performance management caters for all enterprise sizes, from small to medium-sized businesses to global players. Company networks, including suppliers. You can include whatever information you have about competitors, markets, products, services, changes in technology, product life cycle, etc. Organizations, business units, business processes, resources, human and technical, programs and projects, business analysis, controlling, market analysis, and benchmarking. BMM's performance management caters for extensive plausibility checks, clear definition of responsibilities, robust forecasting model, early warning system, including proactive decision support, planning information, in the context of the enterprise organization, low cost of ownership, interfaces to all common analysis systems. I think this is enough for starters. Later, I will go into more depth. It is always a matter of view. Who looks at benefits? The business planner or the executive? Let us spend a few moments on BMM's database aspects. BMM databases are the safe and secure environment for your sensitive planning information. You have full control over who is allowed to change or see the information. BMM database stores information in an encrypted format. Communication with the users and BMM is encrypted as well. BMM maintains the highest possible security and safety levels.
As far as I know, databases need very large computers. What about our small companies? They can neither afford large computers nor database administration.
Here, we have some very good news for you. BMM has a very small footprint and it scales to the size of your business. BMM can be used efficiently and cost-effective from the very small organization to the large-scale global player. BMM scales from a notebook to a network of enterprise servers. We put an extra effort into the BMM development to avoid the issues of database administration. Database administration is fully automated and does not require specialized staff. With BMM you are certain your operating system and hardware investment is protected. The SQL-aware database system runs on almost any hardware and under any operating system.
What about interfacing to our other planning systems? We are running ERP services for all our companies. We use spreadsheets for many other planning aspects. We are using special systems for business analytics and business intelligence. Our marketing department started into big data. Can all this be interfaced to BMM?
Oh yes, BMM covers all these interface aspects. Let me explain. BMM inherently provides already for the basic functionality of business analytics and business intelligence. Most certainly there may be the need for other systems. BMM interfaces with little effort to ERP and business analytics or business intelligence systems. This integration is seamless with all aspects of BMM business planning. BMM provides the business analytics and big data systems with business objectives, master tables, materialized views and enterprise infrastructure data. The business analytics and big data systems provide BMM with technology and market trends, competitive analysis, planning scenarios and improved monthly forecast data. The interface to ERP systems is easily explained. BMM provides the ERP system with master tables, enterprise infrastructure data and monthly plan data values. The ERP system provides BMM with monthly actual data values, thus keeping a consistent data flow without manual intervention. SQL Anywhere has the usual database interfaces. ODBC which interfaces to Microsoft Office and many other applications. JDBC, Odoo.net and OLAP. Further standard BMM interfaces are SQL scripts and the import wizard. BMM allows the programming of automatic interfaces for data import and export. Further, BMM comes with a starter kit. The BMM starter kit aids the user in the rapid development of customized reports and data entry forms. No programming skills are required. There are over 1,000 forms and reports provided under the BMM starter kit. Possibly, the majority of your reporting and data entry requirements are already developed. I think this gave you a good overview of BMM interfacing to other planning systems. Let us briefly visit the theme internationalization. This is of importance to all enterprises dealing with international customers and suppliers. Clearly, BMM has been developed for the international users and caters for a multitude of countries, currencies, languages, calendars, and accounting systems. BMM allows you to define any number of countries. Primary country for the headquarters residents, and secondary countries for the residents of affiliates and customers, etc. You can add any regional refinements of topology like maps, state, county, sales area, census area, etc. To define monthly exchange rates, we define a primary currency, for example US dollar. Then, we define as many secondary currencies as needed. Next, the exchange rates are defined. Secondary currency versus primary currency. The monthly values of the exchange rates have to be maintained by a responsible user. Now, BMM is ready for the automatic currency conversion. BMM will automatically provide monthly values for all planning variables in primary and secondary currencies. This is a user's view of a BMM table and diagram of a currency exchange rate. BMM allows you to define the use of any number of languages. Primary language for the standard reporting. Secondary language for the use in the countries of affiliates. All planning objects, reports and forms can be described in multiple languages. BMM allows the definition of calendars as needed by the business planners. From the generic BMM calendar, any number of calendars can be spawned, which define the monthly working days for countries, industries, company locations, etc. BMM allows the definition and concurrent use of different accounting systems, as required by the stock exchanges or fiscal authorities of different countries. Here are some typical examples of different accounting systems and standards. Okay, so much for BMM and internationalization aspects. I want to come back to the basic elements of business process management. Let's have a look at scenario planning. A scenario accounts for a set of specific planning assumptions. BMM allows for 10 concurrent scenarios. BMM changes scenarios with the flick of a switch. The new scenario has all business objects, metrics and actual data, ready for use. Significant changes in the assumptions require a different scenario. Some examples: change in business targets, new products, new technologies, new competitors, change in politics, etc. In terms of BMM, a scenario is synonymous with business plan and business management model. A scenario is a specific set of assumptions for strategic planning, business planning, operations planning, program and project planning. This allows seamless and synchronized planning operations between the different planning areas. BMM maintains a generic business plan, which copies automatically all or selected business objects and metrics into other business plans. It channels automatically specific plan data and all actual data to the business plans, thus keeping planning efforts to an absolute minimum. So much for BMM and scenario planning.
We understand, BMM uses its own methodology to define and execute planning calculations. Please, give us a brief on this.
Most certainly. I will give you the pertinent features of the BMM planning calculations. The definitions of business planning calculations are an important part of BMM. This is an extensive subject, but I will keep it brief. More will be beyond the scope of this meeting. I am afraid we will have to go through some rather dry definitions. BMM planning horizons control the time span of business models. That is, business models are constrained by and make direct reference to planning horizons. BMM business models control the time span and data content of planning variables and the definitions of planning calculations. The definition of planning horizons and business models warrants the absolute synchronization and encapsulation of planning data. In BMM, you can define virtually any number of planning horizons. Planning horizons can be freely defined as needed. BMM maintains any kind of planning information in time-dependent named arrays, which are generally referred to as planning variables. There are two types of planning variables, simple variable and currency variable. The names of the variables can be freely chosen by the business planner. This is a typical example of a BMM currency variable. Data values are provided in monthly intervals. Variables can be freely defined as needed by the business planner. Other complex planning information can be stored in so-called scales. Scales can be associated with any simple variable or currency variable. There are two basic types of scales, simple scale and time scale. The simple scale is a two-dimensional table with user-defined variables. The time scale is a three-dimensional table, with simple scales sitting on the time axis. This is an example of a simple scale step. Simple scales come in many flavors and can depict very complex functions. BMM provides an efficient way for structuring and sequencing of calculations and their definitions. The calculations are defined and processed in accordance with the structure. To add flexibility, BMM provides efficient means to reorganize the calculation structure. This is a typical definition of a calculation sequence. All metrics for the planning calculations are defined, as we learned in school, that is in the simplest possible manner. Example: hourly wage equals hourly rate multiplied by the number of hours. This calculates the monthly values for the planning variable hourly wage for all currencies. This is an example of a BMM calculation line. It does not look as simple as in school, but it is pretty similar. These metric definitions hold true for an entire business plan. Inherently, the metrics can cover very complex algorithm. Though, I will not go into further detail. This is the so-called calculation outline. This BMM documentation is the storyboard of a calculation sequence. It gives you a quick overview. I think we should stop here. There are many things I have not talked about, for example, threshold values, early warning system, forecasting, and many other functionalities of BMM. The way BMM defines planning variables and calculations saves business planners a lot of effort and time. Also, the error rate is drastically reduced. Thank you for listening.
What are the procedures regarding implementation, transition and training?
Please, let me answer your questions. The BMM implementation procedures are well documented and supported by a tutorial. There are two parts to the implementation: server and clients. The BMM server part is implemented on one or more server facility, which could be standalone, virtual machine or cloud. The implementation of a BMM server will take about half a working day. This accounts already for performance and capacity planning and a learning curve. The implementation of a BMM client will be done per working place in 3 steps. Customization of dashboard, user authorization, installation on the window client. The implementation of a BMM client will take, by our experience, about 4 working hours. Transition is a smooth changeover from the existing planning systems. You do company by company, organization by organization, project by project. No big bang. BMM planning can be implemented, based on planning priorities, with less level of detail in non-critical areas, and with a high level of detail for critical areas. At a later stage, BMM planning can be easily enhanced, adding the required detail. As for BMM training, there will be different levels of training required. Manager training and planning expert training. Manager training for the use of dashboards, maneuvering in forms and reports, and the definition of changing planning requirements. This will take about 3 hours of a manager's time. As for planning expert training, depending on the size of the organization, there will be one-to-many planning experts assigned to give planning support to the managers. The planning expert will have in-depth BMM know-how. The training with the aid of the tutorials will take an expert about 6 working days.
Please, give us an overview of the BMM functionalities.
Yes, with pleasure. But it should really be an overview, because BMM has an extremely broad range of functionality. To get into detail, would be overextending this meeting. As I said, BMM has a broad functionality. One system, for all planning aspects of business performance management. I will give you some time and a better focus to read. To prolong the reading time, you can pause and resume the show. You may find, BMM makes a number of the planning systems currently installed in your company redundant. I am certain, you were looking for more detail. We will give you more detail. But as I said, it is beyond this meeting. So let us discuss the next steps. To get detailed reading matter, go on to our home page. To the download area. You will find 3 PDF documents. Fundamental facts and features, methodology and scope and flyer assembly. Your logical next step would be download and install a fully fledged BMM test package. You will find no hitches to install it and operate it on a notebook. Alternatively, you can install the same BMM test package in the client-server environment of your company.
How much time should we set aside for testing? We want to come to run a good assessment.
Accounting for a learning curve, and for a proper assessment, you should plan approximately 1 month. Get some end users involved, this will give you some good feedback.
That is a sound plan. We will do exactly this. After the assessment, we will sit together again, discussing the next steps. Thank you very much.
Thank you for listening. For more information, please visit our homepage.